Our next presenter is the Special Agent Josh Canter from Weapons of Mass Destruction Coordinator, Boston Field Office. He's going to talk to us about biosecurity, safeguarding science, and the future. Our Special Agent Joshua Canter has been assigned to the Boston Division since July of 2008. After working counter-proliferation for 5 years, Special Agent Canter transferred to the Domestic Terrorism Squad to be the Hazardous Evidence Response Team Lead and one of the Boston Division's full-time Assistant Weapons of Mass Destruction Coordinators. Special Agent Canter has worked on numerous special events and WMD callouts to include the Boston Marathon, 4th of July, the presidential inauguration, Super Bowls, and the Vermont Rich case. In November of 2018, Special Agent Canter was appointed as the Boston Division's primary WMD coordinator. Please join me to welcome our Special Agent Josh Canter to give us his talk.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for giving me this time to speak. Given that we have a limited time, I'm going to blaze right into this, and if at any point you have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, I'm going to try to leave a little time at the end. And additionally, since Supervisory Special Agent Edu is not going to be available for the panel, I'll be sitting on a panel that follows this directly as well. So if you have any questions, you can hit me up. Just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a background. Susan's talked about it a little bit, and probably heard it from some of our other partners about what the WMD program covers. For the purposes of this conference, obviously biology is very important to us. We also cover chemical threats, radiological, nuclear threat. We added unmanned systems, and we kind of look at that as a delivery system, almost a pipe bomb, for lack of a better way of putting it, with wings. All right. Well, I'm going to go, since you guys can't see the screen, I'll go without it. And frankly, it is not particularly important, because all the information I can cover verbally. But the gist of what I was getting to is that all of our information up to headquarters. So Susan, who just spoke before me, is one of our headquarters personnel, and they take all that information and amalgamate it to kind of drops of what we are looking at in terms of emerging technologies, emerging threats in biology. I'm kind of in a unique position with my colleagues in San Francisco, in that two of the major hubs in the United States area and San Francisco area, in his lab and the work that Harvard and MIT are doing in synthetic biology, so where they can kind of get access to Dr. a macro view of the way that the WMD directorate and the WMD coordinators work comes in the micro view. And that is, but while we're waiting for it to come up, I'll keep talking and then just, on a day-to-day basis, we as coordinators, university labs, and this is just a small sampling of what we have. So talk to, biotech companies. And part of what we're doing when we're doing this is we're in a relationship with them where we become, in essence, their partner. If they have new research, if they have interesting topics being considered with the company, the lab. One of the other things that we will do a lot talks to the school about kind of what we're seeing on the national level, how we work with the community, and then micro scale, some of us, myself included, sit on some of the biggest institutions in our area. It was nice to follow up both Jamie and Megan because they talked a lot about some of the iGEM being one of the big ones. FBI is a principal sponsor of iGEM, and we've been there every year for the last 7. We give a biosecurity talk to all there is to learn from the groups that are there, but also to recognize that any of the problems over the next few years the solutions are also going to probably come out of the groups that are there. And our ability to partner with them and learn from them goes an extremely long way in getting us down that route where if we have a problem, we know the people we can reach out to. And we can go directly to our contacts at those companies, those labs, those universities, those schools, and say, hey, who do you know who's working on this? Who can help me with this issue, with this problem? On a more real basis, what we've done in cases in the past is, say we found a lab notebook on a scene that we're working. I've actually gone to some of my in the science world and said, look at this. Can you tell me if what the experiment that I see happened in the lab notebook? And, to that point, like 99% of the time what we are, or they might say, hey, can you ask these additional questions to try to determine if they're doing. When it comes to biosecurity, I just want to kind of go over some on a regular basis. And this is kind of looking back pre-COVID, but in 2019, we had 2 individuals stopped at Boston Logan Airport who were smuggling a large amount of biosamples in their luggage. Between the 2 of them, there was over 100 cryo vials of unknown material. Now, when we think about that as a whole issue, I apologize for getting kicked off again. Signal's fine, I guess, until I started to present. Anyway, as I was saying, this biosmuggling thing that we're seeing across the country, and since 2019, there's been 35 individuals just in the Boston area who we've caught smuggling, but across the country, we've seen these consistently in several different quarters. Besides the loss of intellectual property, we're also talking the loss of extended research time and possibly proprietary material, let alone material that might be subject to grants where these labs are going to lose access to the grant money because they've lost access to the material. But just as researchers, the chance of having unknown material come in and then cause contamination of the experiments that you're currently running is huge. To give you an example, in Detroit, we had an individual come in that had 5 animal plant viruses that are non-endemic to the Western Hemisphere. So the threat that is gained by those getting out or being released is very easy to see. So what we've done, partner with the universities and labs in the area, is we had a biosecurity working group and then a season to talk to them about some of the ways to protect themselves from this kind of activity. So we looked at everything from materials transfer agreements to shipping regulations, brought in our partners with Customs and Border Patrol, our partners with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Centers for Disease Control. And we talked through all of the different things. And for some of these materials, it is something as simple as a letter from the lab stating what's in the material, how it's being taken, and the purpose for what. But with some of the larger things, it needs to be shipped in a special way, or it needs to be sent in a special way, and there needs to be a materials transfer agreement as well as a declaration what is in it. And you may have missed some of the things that I said.